Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm going to do my weekly reading update for March 9th, 2025. So it was not a good week for me. Reading wise, this sounds really stupid, but my car kind of stopped recognizing my phone. So there was no audiobooks and no real music in my car. I mean, I found a radio station, but it's not the same. Anyway, so I didn't do much audiobook at all this week. I think one day I listened to at work, 1 or 2 days, and then I just didn't have time. It was super busy. I don't remember if I mentioned or not, but I have to cover for one of my coworkers who's out on leave. So I will be covering her for the next 2 or 3 months. No one's given me kind of a date. So what that means is that on at least right now, 2 of the days of the week, I go to work and then I drive in our company truck to the other location, which is about a half-hour away, take care of everything I can on that end, and then come back and then finish up like doing certain parts of it I can't do there because of sign-ons and stuff. So I'll do it when I get back to my office and then try to catch up with what I missed at my job. So it was a crazy the first 2 days of doing that. I hate driving. The F-250 pickup that is the company truck that I'm driving, it is just gigantic. And I hate driving that thing, but whatever. Okay, so I have to drive it because they don't want me to drive my personal vehicle on company time, you know, that kind of thing. Anyway, I hate driving that F-250. If it was a 150, I wouldn't have a problem. It's the 250. It's just gigantic. And it has extra big tires on it too, so I have to jump in and out. Like, it's just not fun. Cooper, are you not calm down? Dude, what are you doing? Anyway, so I had a really busy week work-wise. I think for the next few months, my audiobook time will be down because when I'm at the other location, I am so busy and doing stuff that I can't I just can't be listening to audiobooks. I won't be able to. My brain won't compute what's doing. Because if I'm at my office and I'm doing my stuff, I have a rhythm, so I know I can do stuff without. Anyway, so the point is that my audiobook listening probably will go down for the next few months, which is fine because I was kind of burning myself out anyway. So, but this week, an added complication is I got iritis in my left eye again. So if those of you who've been around here a while, that is an inflammation of the eye or in the iris. And what it means is I'm very light sensitive and my eyeball aches. And unless you've had that happen to you, you don't understand how bad it can be, especially with the light sensitivity. As it gets progressively more inflamed, it stabs more and more on your eyeball. I had a really mild case and I wasn't sure if I should take medication, so I got an appointment for the next day because it kind of came on pretty gradually over a couple of days. And then that morning I woke up at 4:30 in the morning with stabbing eye pain. So luckily I had some old medication which I used, which did help, and I got through the day to my appointment and got more medication. So it's again, is this 3 days in for the medication? So it's still pretty early days. I still have light sensitivity, but it's not any stabbing pain. This is all very achy and I can't read as much. So I didn't read for 2 of the days because of that. Thursday and Friday, I didn't read at all. I could not focus in a book. And because I was stabbing pains, listening to audiobooks was not the vibration. It was not a good idea. Anyway, point is I didn't do it. Kitty, you're driving me crazy. Anyway, so I finished, 4 things, which I'm really proud of, but it's just, I felt like I didn't read anywhere near as much as I meant to or what I meant to. And, that's kind of how that's going. So that's a really long opening. Sorry about that. But I thought it was kind of all relevant to how the week of reading went this week. So, I did finish 4 things, as I said. I have decided not to read one of my mammoths. I did try it last weekend, and then I just was like, I'm not in the mood for this. And it was kind of out of my comfort zone, which was Great North Road by Peter F. Hamilton. So I tried to read this. I read the first couple pages and I was just like, no, this is just not for me right now. I think sci-fi just is not calling to me overall. That's not what I'm purchasing and that's not what I'm reading. So I think I'm going to put this back on my shelf and another time when I'm more in a sci-fi mood, because this has to do with a man who does clones of himself at a certain point, and then it kind of through history, I think it's going to show over the clone family through this. I don't know, but I didn't get very far. I'm not even going to say I mean, I didn't even put it on like that I read any of it, because it really was just, I tested it and I went, oh no. So that mammoth is not going to work. I still have another mammoth or two that I'd like to try, but I don't think it's going to be this week due to work things, and then also all my library book holds that came in. So anyway, we're going to see what happens. So let's talk about the books that I read, the ones I'm in the middle of, and what I think I'm going to read in the next week. So first thing I finished was Beg, Borrow, or Steal by Sarah Adams. This is book 3 in the When in Rome series. I really enjoyed this after I got into it. I think this book is a little rough for people who don't want bickering. These two are rivals. They have been rivals since college. They had a really bad meet cute that went really bad. And it was just because of what place they were in their lives that they just became enemies all the way through college. And then they both got jobs in the same grade school. So they're both second grade teachers. So I do love that you're kind of 4 years, all these working all those times. Well, the main male character, Jack, is had something in his life go not to his plan. He had decided to leave, and then he came back, and Emily was all excited that he left, but she couldn't figure out why. She was kind of mad that she didn't get to say goodbye to him. Like, it was like they had these like unresolved issues between each other because they've been enemies for a decade. And so anyway, he comes back for the summer, so they're not in school. They're not, having to work yet. So they have the summer, and he moves in, he buys the house next to hers. And then, so again, the beginning part of this is very much bickering because they have been bickering at each other since they met. And then it's them slowly kind of seeing behind all their bickering what was either making me mad about each other, or what actually they did enjoy about their interactions. So again, I think this is one of the ones. It's probably my least favorite of the Sarah Adams that I've read, only because again, the rule book had a trope I didn't like. So this is probably kind of on the same thing, where this got better after I got past that first, I would say the first 75 pages was just, I was like getting kind of tired of them. And then it got really good. Like, I really love the way this went, the journey they both go on and their relationship, and then all the characters in this series that you meet throughout the other books. I really love the way it came, and glimpses we get of what's going to potentially be for the 4th book, although, I'm curious to see how that's all going to go. But I really did love this in the end. So again, I can't give it like glowing 5-star, because the first part of it was so hard for me to get through because I did not enjoy how long the bickering did go on. And I think there's reasons for it. I just got tired of it, and for me personally. But I love Sarah Adams' writing. I love her characters, even when they were bickering. But I just felt they were so petty sometimes. And I'm like, dude, you're like, late 20s, early 30s. I don't remember exactly. I think they were late 20s. Anyway, but I'm like, no, I think they're 30s. Early 30s. And I'm just like, you are just bickering over stupid things. Anyway, but I did really enjoy it in the end. So if you've read that series, I still think read it. I think it's really good in the end. I just think that you have to be ready for the bickering in the beginning. Then the one audiobook that I finished this week was Scythe and Sparrow by Bryn Weaver. This is book 3 in the Ruinous Love trilogy. I really enjoyed this, but I would say of the 3 books, this is my least favorite, but it also kind of touched on different themes and stuff than the other books. So I think it did what it was supposed to do. This had Samantha Brentmore and Eric Nolan as the narrators. And I really love the audiobooks. Audiobooks are dual narration. So when the female, it's in her point of view, then but when he speaks, it's the other narrator's voice. So you have to get kind of used to that. But again, I said I liked it for all of these. It worked out really well. This one is following Rose, who works in a circus, and she has a lot of things in her past. And of course, she is a serial killer, because that's what these books are serial killer romances. And then Fionn is a doctor, but his brothers are, you know, in the serial killer business. So he knows a lot about it, and he is, you know, kind of he was the younger, so he went a different route, or, you know, to trying to not give into those, but then things start happening, and then there's a lot of consequences for rushed actions. And I think it played out really well. And I do agree with some people who say there's a choice that Fionn makes that I don't agree with, that I don't like that he did that. I also see why he did it, but I feel because this series is following three brothers, each one has their book, that the choice would have been more to fall back on your family than on a character I don't think that he should have. Anyway, but beyond that, I really liked their story and their growth and things that happened. I like seeing part of the second book within here where, you know, and the first book, there's like scenes that the two main characters here were with the other characters while they were going through their stories. So that was really fun. I think overall this was a great series. I really enjoyed it. I will definitely check out whenever she comes out with something else. Hopefully it'll be something fun, because I think she has a great sense of humor. I mean, it's a morbid serial killer kind of sense of humor, but it was just really fun. So I did really enjoy that. And I'm glad I binged that series where I read them all pretty close together. I read the other two the week before. And so I read them all within, you know, less than a week. So I really enjoyed all three of them. And I listened to all three on audio, which I think were fantastic. Then I had my buddy read that I finished with Berna's Bookish Adventures, The Labyrinth House Murders, which is book 3 of the House Murders series by Yukito Ayasuji. This was translated by Ho Ling Wang. So this one has a little different structure than the other two books. I think these are great mysteries. Again, this is a 5-star read. This was so fantastic because I think, again, the author got me. I didn't guess everything, and I love that. So this is following the same detective from the other two books, and he is invited with some other people to the Labyrinth House for kind of a celebration. And this is like book within a book, so there's a beginning and an end that frame the story, but it's mostly the novel that is talked about is the story. So I think it was really well done. And the clues are there, but I just missed some of them. I just thought it was really awesome. They always have really cool maps. This actually is a labyrinth house. Like there's a labyrinth and these are all the rooms. It was just so much fun. So if you like mysteries and you like, it's kind of, you know, as I said, it's kind of has the gimmick of, you know, the houses, the House Murder series are all about some weird houses that were made by this famous architect who had his own tragic story that we hear about in book 1. And then we get to go to all the houses that he created over his lifetime, and the things they're just, and it just goes in directions. I don't want to give anything away at all, but I really enjoyed this one. I liked it just as well as the Mill House Murders, which I really loved last year or the year before when we read that. So Bern and I had read the other two together, and this is in the next one is coming out later this year, but it's book number 5. So I don't know why they're not translating book number 4. I'm kind of upset about that. I hate when these translations, there's this one and the Kandaichi detective series that they're not publishing them in order. They're all over the place. So anyway, book 5, but it'll be the 4th one in English translation. The Clock House Murders are coming out, I think, in October. So we're looking forward to that. And again, it was a great buddy reading experience. And it was just, I just adored this book for a mystery. And again, both of those last two were for March Mystery Madness. Just happened to, I was in binging the Ruinous Love Triangle, and then the Labyrinth House Murders was already a planned buddy read. So that just worked out. And then another mystery I picked up for March Mystery Madness was My Brother Michael by Mary Stewart. So this is a reread for me. This is one of my favorites of the Mary Stuarts that I have read. I have read over half of them, but I'm in the process of rereading all of her mystery series from the 50s. I think it's through the 80s. I'm not sure. Maybe at least through the 70s. There might be some 80s. I can't remember. But I'm going to reread all the ones. I bought them all in these really pretty copies. And I have really old versions, which I will show at some point. Just to kind of show my Mary Stuart collection, but this one was my favorite as a teenager. So I haven't read this. I didn't go back and look to see when the last time I read it, but I'm sure it's been over a decade. I don't remember reading this while I've been back to Oregon. So I'm guessing it was before that I read it. So it could have been up to 15 years ago. So it's been a long time since I read some of the Mary Stuarts. And again, as I said, I'm trying to go through to read them. And okay, so these are mysteries. Again, they're period pieces. So this is published in 1959, and what we're following is Camilla, who is in Greece for vacation. She's kind of trying to. She was supposed to go with a friend, but she ended up having to go by herself. And she's sitting in this cafe trying to decide what she wants to do for the day, or and she really wants to find a way to get to Delphi to see that because she's a teacher of classics. Of the classics, I guess, or whatever. So but she was sitting in the cafe, and this garage guy comes up and says, "Here's the car you rented." And she's like, "No, I didn't." And because of the language barrier, she thinks she tells him, "No, I didn't." And she was saying yes instead. So he leaves the keys with her. So she has this car, and she waits for another hour to see if somebody else pops up. And the garage guy had said that it was a matter of life and death, and it was for Mr. Simon. So she decides to take the car to Delphi, since that's where it was supposed to go, which is where she wanted to go anyway, and it would not cost her anything. So she takes off in the car, and then she meets someone named Simon, and he doesn't know anything about the car, and the mystery kind of goes from there. And the title, My Brother Michael, has to do with Simon and why he is in Delphi. In that area, because his brother had been during World War II had been in Greece in that area, and he had been killed. So there's a lot of mystery to do with things that happen with his brother, and she kind of gets tagged along in this story because she has this car. And this is still one of my favorites. I don't know if it's my favorite anymore because, again, there's it's been years. So, but I really enjoyed my reread. I totally had forgotten certain things. I know somebody said, I think I've heard people say that this was the most brutal of her books. And I understand that because in her mystery, not everybody comes out of this alive, kind of thing. Because it's a murder mystery in the long run. But I still don't think, I didn't have any problem with it. So I'm not sure, but I think they're great mysteries. I think they're very smart, and I like the characters in them because they're not, I don't know, they just don't sound typical. Like they actually have personality, I guess. I don't know. I just really enjoyed it. So anyway, the next one I need to read is The Ivy Tree, which is one I have DNF'd previously. So I don't know if I'm going to make it through that one because of the trope where a young woman pretends to be somebody else. Like she looks like somebody like a lot, and she gets someone thinks that that's who she is, and she's like, no, I'm not them. And then I think they pay her to, because there's some inheritance or something. So I don't know, but it's one of my mom's favorites. But I don't like the lying trope of pretending to be somebody else. So we'll see if I make it through The Ivy Tree. If not, the next one I will try is The Moon Spinners, which again is one of my favorites from my childhood because of the movie with oh, I can't think of her name. Hallie something. You know who I'm talking about. Anyway, I love that Disney movie. Anyway, probably one of my favorites of all time. Okay, so that's what I finished. I finished that late last night, and I totally forgot that it was daylight savings. So I went to bed at like 11:45, and I had to get up at 7, but I lost an hour. So anyway, but it was worth it because the book was so good at the end that I had to finish it. So anyway, hopefully I'll get to another Mary Stuart in the next couple months. I don't think I'll get to it this month, but I do want to get back to doing my reread of all her books, because there are like a couple of them for sure I don't remember reading. And if I did, I only read them once when I was a teenager, and they're not the ones I've reread. So anyway, I'm really looking forward to doing that. The only other book that I'm in the middle of is Room to Dream by David Lynch and Christine McKenna. So I did get the physical book from the library because there are tons of pictures in here of him and some of his movie stuff. So again, David Lynch is the director who passed away recently. And again, he did Twin Peaks, the older version of Dune, and Blue Velvet, and oh, there's more. My brain is just shutting up. But Twin Peaks is really where I was introduced to him. Anyway, so I am actually just at the Twin Peaks mark, but this is where my car radio decided not to recognize my phone anymore. So I have not been able to listen to anything. So I am at 53%. I'm at 247 pages. So this book is almost 500. It's over 500 pages with all the notes. But I think it's like just, oh, maybe it's just over 500 pages. I don't know how it says maybe there's more pictures in the back end. I don't know. There's 506 pages. Anyway, it's a really big book, maybe not mammoth size, and I didn't really mean to read this right now, but my hold came in, so I'm listening to it, and I said I got the physical so I could look at the pictures. But this isn't a book that I'm concentrating on, and again, as I said, when my audiobook wasn't working, and then I've been too busy at work to listen to audiobooks, and then my eye hurt, and I didn't want to listen to anything. So anyway, I'm hoping this week to get back to this. I still have, I think, 6.5 hours on the audio, but it'll be less than that when with the speed I listen to. I just need to have time to listen to it. So I'm hoping to finish this memoir later. Again, it's a really interesting memoir where Christine McKenna first does kind of David Lynch's history, like for a time period, like all the things that are kind of, he did this, he did that, he watched that, he, directed that, and he, like the kind of more bullet points of what his life is like. And then he tells, then the next half of the chapter is him telling stories within that period. So sometimes their information overlaps, but a lot of times he is telling stuff that is kind of off the wall, stuff about him and people that he worked with. And it's really a who's who of Hollywood in a lot of ways of certain things. So as I said, I am at the part where they haven't actually discussed Twin Peaks yet. It's like in that chapter. I'm in the middle of that one. Of course, it's called Wrapped in Plastic, which totally makes sense. If you're into Twin Peaks. Anyway, so I'm hoping to get this done this week because my audiobook is going to go away. I think early maybe end of this week. I better check. But I do want to finish that. So that's the only thing I'm in the middle of because I finished My Brother Michael so late last night that I did not start anything. So I have hundreds of books I can pick from that I own. But of course, some of my library holds came in. So I might pick one of these up and then maybe pick one of my books, or I might just read all three of these or try them at least. The first one is Rainfall Market by Yu Yong Guan. This is translated by Slin Jun. So this is a Korean bestseller. I think this has to do with a market where if you get the ticket, you can get rid of your misfortunes or something. I'm not sure, but it's really pretty. Again, I read a lot of Japanese, magical realism kind of things. And so I did pick up a few Korean authors as well, but these are the ones that came in for the library. This is one I was on hold for. And then the other one was Yunam Dong's Smiley Laundromat by Kim Yeon. This is translated by Shanna Tan. So this one has to do with somebody leaving something at the laundromat. A mysterious diary left at the laundromat brings together residents from all walks of life. So it's heartwarming. So there's something going on with that too. So I don't know. I've heard about this from other people that I wanted to try it. So again, it's another Korean one. So I got both of these from the library. They of course came in at exactly the same time. But I want to try those. And then I also picked up this one kind of on a whim. This was on the new releases shelf. So this one I might just try and then maybe get a copy later or try to get it again. And this is the first book in the Ancestor Memories fantasy, Gate to Kagoshima by Poppy Kuroki. So this is about, it looks like it has to do with somebody who's researching their family history from, I think in Japan, and she gets thrown back in time, back 128 years. And then I think it's, so I'm guessing it has some, it's a kind of time travel Outlander kind of thing, but it's Japan. So I want to try it and see if I like it, because it's really pretty, but I have real issues with time travel sometimes. So it depends on how it goes, but this is classified, I think, as a romance, fantasy romance, but again, with time travel. So we'll see. Anyway, so I have those out from the library. So I would like to this week is to clear all the library books if I can, so that I can read some of the books that I have on my counter. So if I finish, audiobook wise, if I finish Room to Dream, I do have my next Mammoth that I want to try on audio. So we'll see if I get to that. It's not right now. Mammoths are just not, they're not calling to me. The mysteries are very much calling to me. Again, I'm going to take a little break from those to read some of these library books, but maybe I'll insert another romance or another mystery in. I'm really enjoying March Mystery Madness. Again, that is put on by Elizabeth at Lizzie Faye Loves Books, and there's so many hosts and so many different people are doing it. I take part in it every year, just at least a little bit, and this year I just seem to be drawn to the mysteries, so that's good. Even if the mystery is within a fantasy, like I've read a lot of mysteries recently, which is great because I own so many that I really want to get to, and there's so many translated ones I'd like to also get to. So we'll see what I pick up next. I'm not sure. As I said, today I'm gonna do some of the library books, and then hopefully by the end of the week I will be reading my books again. And all the library books are done, because I'm still trying to cut back and not get so many library books, but they always come in all at the same time. And then when I go in, I want to look at the new releases and see all the new stuff. And as I said, I picked up the one to try. So we'll see how that goes. So anyway, that is my reading for this week. I don't have any plans this week, except trying to figure out what's wrong with my car, with the stereo, because that's driving me crazy. So I have to call tomorrow and maybe have an appointment. I don't know. It's annoying because my car is not that old. I mean, it's, 4.5 years old. And I'm like, why is my stereo having trouble? Why can't I connect? Anyway, so we'll deal with that. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else this week. So I still need to work on my book inventory. I'm still the last couple shelves I need to finish. Because that number is huge. Anyway, but we're going to get that done some point. But today is probably going to be a lazy day with just my chores, because I did actually trim the hydrangeas out front of my house, which was a chore. And my upper part of my back hurts a little bit from bending over and snipping them. And then I also took out some blackberry vines out front. We still need to do the backyard. Backyard is gross. I hate blackberry vines. They're like a pandemic or for my backyard, so we need to work on that. But other than that, it's really sunny right now, but it's supposed to rain, so weather wise it's still a very spring, or starting to get from winter to spring for here. But anyway, that's it. I think I've talked enough, and that's about all I can talk about. So anyway, what are you guys reading? Anything good? Anything going on? My book buying has been minimal. I've only we're on the 9th, and I've only brought in 4 books. One of them was a Patreon book, so I didn't pay for, well, I paid for that, but you know what I mean? Like that one I knew about. I had 1 pre-order come in, and then 2 books I bought yesterday, so maybe I shouldn't have done that, but it's only 4 books in 9 days, right? We're working on it. Anyway, let me know what you're reading, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye. Isn't he cute?